Let us know in the comments below. Bon voyage. How many more of these do we need to do, man?
About 18.
Fed up with this flaming BookTube palaver. Ridiculous. I mean, who even watches this nonsense? Get a job! I'm still recording.
Oops.
Folk are going to find out what it's like backstage, aren't they?
Oh, and it's no pretty.
Shall we make it a tag?
Alright then.
Is it already a tag?
As?
Have we been tagged?
You've been tagged.
Who tagged us? Courtney Ferriter.
It was.
Courtney Ferriter tagged us. It's the Bookstage tag! The backstage Bookstage! The back book! Oh. It's the Bookstage tag! Oh no! It's the backstage book tag! All the titles. Welcome to Bookstage with Simon and Amy.
Backstage.
Yes, we're talking about BookTube Backstage.
Backstage.
That time was a joke.
Are you okay?
Welcome to BookTube with Simon and Amy. We're talking about BookTube Backstage. Thanks to Courtney Ferriter. This tag was originated by somebody else. Rainier Books. Thank you, voice in my ear. It's great having a backstage in it. Hey. What do you mean? I won't sing! Shut up! Switch off the microphone. We're getting on with this. Right, so we are going to talk about what goes into making this carnage. I mean, as you can probably tell, it is very unplanned, unpolished, and ungood.
It's mainly tea and swearing.
So we use a Canon DSLR, which I already owned, and normally we use the lens that is on right now, which is quite nice because although when we sit here we're right back against the books, when I'm doing my reviews on my own I'm kind of further forward and the books, the background is blurry, and I think it makes it look quite professional and polished. But we have a second lens as well that gives us a wider shot, which we used for the first time in the rap battle. In case you missed it, this is her rapping.
Your stupid spinster anecdotes are truly dire, but Hercules admired, retired and still on fire.
You're obsessive compulsive. Your people skills repulsive. You even schedule sickness to avoid being impulsive. I mean, we have quite the film collection, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It's rather large. I don't know, it's a tricky one. I've got quite a few, it's hard to pick. It's like asking somebody to pick their favourite book.
If only you'd been given notice of these questions.
Maybe Kevin Smith. So I've got like every Kevin Smith film. I like the Universe as it's called. I think that he's absolutely hysterical. And it's just like the right level of immaturity plus, I don't really know, just immaturity. It's great.
I don't really care about film directors. I tend to, if I think the film looks good, I'll watch it. If I think it looks boring, I won't. I never really pay attention to directors. I was talking to Shvia recently though, and I think we both quite like Christopher Nolan. He did the Batman films, and I don't watch a lot of comic book stuff, but I really liked his Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. Inception was obviously smashing, and I want to see Tenet, but I haven't yet. So I guess Christopher Nolan is maybe one that I would say I like.
Cool. Next up, what microphone do you use and what program do you use to edit your videos?
This microphone. It's a Rodeo Link mic, which is quite good. I got rechargeable batteries though, because I found that you don't want the batteries to cut out mid-video, which has happened more than once. So I got rechargeable batteries, which means I can just charge them all the time.
In terms of editing software, I use the Simon program. Highly recommend.
So I don't know anything about video editing, as is very apparent to all of you, I'm quite sure. I started using, at the beginning, I used iMovie just on my Mac, but I've moved to Wondershare Filmora now, which you pay. I think it's like £30 or something for a lifetime license. It's pretty affordable, and I find it's got much better features, but why I prefer it is when you use iMovie, you actually have to import all of the footage into your memory, so it takes up a lot of memory, whereas Filmora just reads it from the memory card or whatever, so it's much gentler on your memory, and iMovie was starting to sort of play up and wouldn't export properly, so I use Filmora a lot more. You can add more layers and stuff as well, so I like it.
You look like your cogs are absolutely trying to go back like a bazillion years.
The earliest one I remember getting, which might not be the first, but the earliest one I remember was when my parents got me a boombox for Christmas, and it was accompanied by the Huge Hits 2000 CD, which included hits such as 7 Days by Craig David, Babylon by Macy Gray.
No, David Gray.
Yeah, that. Had a Spice Girls song, and it had a great remix to the Casualty theme tune.
Did it really?
Yeah. Bow da bow da for the road. Do 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 do. Do 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 da 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 da. Ah! I've been shot. Can everyone stop getting shot? Da 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 da.
That was brilliant.
What about you?
The first one that I remember getting, I went to HMV to spend my Christmas money when I was little, and I picked Firestarter by Prodigy, back when you'd buy like singles, so it was just that song and maybe like another song on it. It was a single, but I was too little and I couldn't say the Prodigy, so I called them the Plodigy, and I thought I was so rock and roll.
It's ironic because you set this place on fire.
Oh, I set a minor fire one time on accident. Anyway,
she got one of these candle things where you put in like a melted wax thing on it and a candle inside, but she wanted it to really smell like the melted wax, so she put 3 tea light candles into this one little burner, and the whole thing caught fire.
No, but usually
set the curtains on fire.
The curtains hardly
black soot right across the ceiling. And then when we finally painted it, my dad walked the dog and splattered mud all over the ceiling about a week later. Total waste of time and effort to repaint the ceiling.
Living with me is a disaster.
It depends on the type of video, but usually just I have talking points in my head, so I sort of work out what I want to say in the rough order I want to say it in, and then freestyle. Make a lot of mistakes and edit heavily.
I'm the same, I do talking points because I just waffle nonsense, so I feel like if I didn't have talking points to refer back to, I'll just get lost, and I feel like I just go off in random tangents sometimes, so I need to like rein myself back in, and I swear too much. We know this. Again, we have quite the collection. That's difficult. Oh, I need time to think, Hugo.
Hugo? I'm Simon. Who's flipping? Is it because you've been watching that Les Mis thing again?
I said, you go.
Right. Breaking Bad, I would say, is one of my favourites because of the way that the power shifts all the time. and someone who seems to be on the back foot, that just this tiny thing gives them the upper hand. I found it so clever and so morally ambiguous. Characters were great, not a boring episode. So Breaking Bad's definitely one. I would say Utopia, the British original version that was out maybe 5-6 years ago, was great.
Nah, the American one was trash.
Gillian Flynn rewrote it. She adapted it for US TV. Quite frankly, I was so excited because I love the show. I love Gillian Flynn. I had extremely high hopes for it, and I found it really awful. And I think the consensus from the wider TV viewing population was similar.
Was it?
Yep.
I mean, you and I didn't like it. That's pretty much as wide as the TV viewing population that we speak to gets.
Because it's only 3, I won't mention Doctor Who, Game of Thrones or House. I think the third one has to be Coronation Street, which I've been watching for nearly 15 years. I've been to Coronation Street. I've pulled the pump behind the Rovers, which we were allowed to do. I've rung the bell behind the bar, which we were not allowed to do. And
oh, here we go, trivia moment.
I'm one of the few people in the world who can say I've touched Gail Platt's remote control, because I reached over the barrier and touched it even though we weren't allowed, because I wanted to be able to tell people I've touched Gail Platt's remote control.
What a claim to fame. For me, Gilmore Girls is like my comfort TV show. So if I'm going through like a hard time, or I'm stressed out of work, or
having to read Les Mis,
I'll go to Gilmore Girls. It's just absolutely fantastic. I love it. The characters are great. It's such a quaint wee town, Stars Hollow. It's just brilliant. And then Supernatural. Love some Supernatural. I watched that with my gran originally, and then when I moved through to Simon, I tried to get Simon into it and he hated it. I absolutely adore Supernatural. I think that it is brilliant. And then probably Game of Thrones. We used to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to watch Game of Thrones when it was shown as the same time in America. We'd set an alarm for like 1 o'clock in the morning and we'd get up. And when we first moved into this house, we didn't have Sky yet, and so we would set an alarm and we would walk round to Simon's mum and dad's and use their Sky for a couple of hours while they were in bed so that we could watch it. And just the thought of us traipsing round the corner like absolute freezing cold.
Was it not one day my dad had forgotten that it was Game of Thrones night?
And he was sleeping on the couch, and I nearly had a heart attack, so I turned on the light and your poor dad was there. I was like, Simon, go.
I have to say my parents do not have a stormy relationship, but my dad snores excessively, and so occasionally there is a separation in that regard. Yeah.
I know who you take after. Reviews, wrap-ups, vlogs, book hauls, tag videos, etc. I like a haul. I feel like if I watch a couple of book hauls, it sort of prolongs me overbuying books. I get to like vicariously live through somebody else's rampant consumerism, which is quite good. And then I like wrap-ups. I like just sort of getting wee short snippets about different books and deciding whether or not I want to read them. Because if I want to read if I want to watch a full review, I prefer to do that after I've read a book, because I don't want to get any spoilers. What about you?
Is this a question I can answer honestly, given our audience?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I hate BookTube videos. What a boring idea. I mean, I never watched a BookTube video before I started this channel, and the idea of sitting watching someone with a loud nasally voice moving with every syllable like this because it apparently makes people more engaged with what they're saying, actually it makes me want to kill them.
I feel personally attacked. Loud nasally voice.
but it didn't appeal to me. I didn't watch them. But before everybody unsubscribes, having started the channel, I have started watching BookTube videos, and I found them really fascinating and really engaging. But for me, it's less about the type of video and more about the creator behind it. So there are booktubers, I will watch every single video they do because it is just delightful to watch them, and there are others who I cannot listen to them. I would just rather stick my head in a frying pan and put it up to full. So, I mean, if you're watching and you're a creator, then either I like you so much that I watch you and have come to love BookTube videos because of you and the amazing stuff that you do. So thank you. Or you do my head in, please stop and just do something else. I think bits of us are similar. So what Amy and I do is we like to binge box sets a lot. So we have a huge collection. We've got about 1,500 DVDs, genuinely, and so we select a box set each. So we watch Amy's choice on a Monday and Tuesday evening. On a Thursday and Friday evening we watch my choice. At the weekend we watch movies. Wednesdays we try to use for board games and other things that aren't sort of TV related. So that is the main way that I consume, and then if Amy is at work and I am not, then I'll tend to watch box sets that you have decided for some reason aren't good enough for you, but are often better than what you've picked. I think I've said before I'm still on Spooks, which I know Kit enjoys.
Does he?
Yeah, Waterloo Road I watched before that because I used to be a teacher, fun fact.
I feel like I mainly consume media through my phone. I feel like usually Simon sees me and I'm like this, and that's like the only bits of my face that he sees. Even when I am watching with the TV in front of me, I will also still have my phone. I am awful. And it's something I actually feel like I'm much better at it now than I was when we first got together, which is saying something because I'm still at it now.
I'm not on the Facebook or Instagram or any of these things. So
all of the above.
I guess the big difference between you and me is you like to stream quite a lot.
Yes, so I watch Netflix,
do a lot of Netflix
and Amazon Prime. And I get even some of the add-ons that you can buy through Amazon Prime, so you can get like other channels. I'm terrible.
I feel a lot of box in the same way that I reject Kindles in the strongest terms. I prefer to own the DVD, because if you just stream it, you're renting the content. It's not yours to keep, so you've spent money on something that you can't keep and don't own. I'd rather spend a similar amount of money on something that I can keep and show off.
No, I get that, but this is a level of laziness that I am at. So like my Monday, Tuesday pick at the moment is Parks and Rec, and Simon bought me the entire box set of Parks and Rec.
I did.
But I will not get off my arse to put Parks and Rec into the DVD player, and therefore will stream it on Amazon Prime. That's my level of lazy. So like I totally agree, like I would rather have the physical box set, but if it is on a streaming platform that I can change from my remote without moving, that's how I'm watching it.
By the way, if any of you have watched Schitt's Creek, that's what we're going to watch after Parks and Rec, so let us know if we're going to enjoy it. It's got the mum from Home Alone, it's going to be great.
And the dad for American Pie.
Right, next question.
That's us.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's the whole tag?
That's the whole tag.
Oh well, I would have padded that a bit more if I realised that was it. Oh well, I hope you've enjoyed that insight into what goes on behind the scenes here at BookTube with Simon and Amy. And we will continue to... I feel like if we're talking about all the work and effort that goes in behind the scenes, we actually probably should mention Mariana.
Forget the manner and so go where you go.
Who does a phenomenal job and is really funny. I have to say that it's all her own mind. Generally, I write the lyrics and send her music, but she does all the creative herself with no real input or guidance from me, and it is always 10 times better than I could have ever imagined. So thank you very much, Mariana, for all the work that you do to make this channel, because if it's got someone with talent appearing occasionally.
Offended.
Thank you for watching. If you want to take part in this tag, do it. If you don't bother. Bye. Bon voyage.
Hi.